Okay, so listen, I really enjoy watching birds, but it's a little bit difficult. I mean, I've got binoculars and, they work with my glasses, but I don't know, birds just move so quickly. And, I may get a bird in sight and it moves and I'm trying to find it. And then I look in all these bird books, or I also use Merlin Bird ID, which does help a lot. I didn't want to miss showing you the simple way that Merlin Bird ID works. It's an app that you can get on your phone. It's absolutely free, and it's just so simple to use. It'll help you to identify your bird, or at least get a lot closer to what that bird actually is, just from making a few little observations and plugging them into the app, as you see here. I did this one about the blue jay that came to my yard this morning. You can also record the bird's sound or take a photo of it, and the app will help you identify what it is. When you read the description, it'll help you to figure out if this is the right bird. But I find that I need something else. So I'm going to show you some methods that I've discovered that have helped me to get to know my local birds better. Now, first of all, if you've got a phone with a camera in it, you can take videos of some of the birds, or even photos if you're not able to do videos. Even if you just stand at your window and kind of try to focus on the birds that you see, or wherever you are in a park or whatever. And the thing is that they don't have to be clear in order for you to learn from them. I'll show you that in a few minutes. Another thing is that the more that you watch the birds that are in your area, the more familiar you'll get, and your eye will kind of catch where they are, like out in the bushes or in the woods or wherever it is that they are. Golly, even if it's up in the ceiling at Lowe's or Home Depot or something. And you'll get familiar with their shapes and their movements. And that way, you'll be able to keep an eye out for when they fly towards you or near to you. And you can go, oh yes, that's whatever it is. For example, there's a small brown bird where I live. Oh, it's my favorite bird. It's the Carolina wren. But sometimes it's far enough away that I'm not quite sure what it is. And I think, of course, being a small bird, oh, is it a sparrow? But then I see that white eyebrow that it has, a bright white eyebrow on each side. And I see that little tipped up tail. And I know that's the Carolina wren. And, just from a few little things, I can tell what it is. So I'll show you some of that stuff, okay? I'm going to show you this dark colored bird. At least it looks dark to me because of the way the light's hitting it. Don't really know what it is, but then when it turns around, I see that yellowy orange beak, a thick beak made for cracking seeds, and I know, female northern cardinal. So as you get familiar with the birds in your area, you can even learn to recognize their silhouette. Sometimes I have trouble taking videos of the birds because the sun is in back of where my bird feeders are, so it's hard to get any detail of the birds, but I can see their silhouettes against the sun. So this is one of the bird books I have, and the very first thing on the inside front cover is Roadside Silhouettes. So if you drive by and you don't see the markings or hear the song, you may well recognize them by their silhouettes. And as I get more familiar with them, I recognize those silhouettes, much as you recognize a person's silhouette. So it's okay if you're not getting these highly detailed, professional looking pictures. You can tell a lot from even a fuzzy picture. And you'll start to notice how different birds fly. And you won't have to see the markings on some birds, but you'll see the way they fly and you'll go, oh, I know what that is. One other thing is size. For example, today, some birds landed on my hanging bird bath, and that bird bath started to dip and sway because those were heavy birds. They were blue jays. I knew that because you see blue jays in a lot of illustrations, even in kids' books, and they're very distinctive. If you look at a picture of one and then you see one, you can go, oh yes, that's a blue jay. And it helped to give me an idea of the comparative size of some of the other birds. Some of the birds that come, now I'm not going to count a hummingbird because that's easily recognized, but a little bit bigger than that are like a Carolina chickadee. Or the Carolina wren. And then I've got larger birds too, not larger than the blue jay though, but I've got cardinals. And I have doves, but they're nowhere near as heavy as those blue jays are. The blue jay was heavy enough that every move it made that little bird bath swing. And also about the doves, it's so funny. I don't know if it's their wings and the sound that they make, but it almost sounds like the noise that the Three Stooges make. That's what it reminds me of. So I don't even have to see it to know. Oh, there's a dove outside. And I don't even have to be able to see this bird clearly. I know because of the area that I live in, the only bird that's bright red like this is the male northern cardinal. Recently, I had a new visitor to my backyard, the gray catbird. I didn't know what it was, but I knew that it was something I hadn't seen before. So I asked some people on my bird watching Facebook page that I frequent, and one person replied and said, oh, that is my favorite bird. It's the gray catbird. How do you know? It's got the black cap on its head. It's gray. And the underside of its tail is a rusty reddish color. Sure enough, those things were so easy to see to identify this bird. So see how much it can help you if you have some pictures or videos of the birds around you, especially if you have videos, you can pause them to get a really good look at various angles and characteristics of the bird. Now, you may wonder, what about the bird's song? Can't you identify a bird by its song? That can help. For me, I remember what I see much more easily than what I hear, so I kind of get confused about some bird songs. And also, just like people, birds can make lots of different sounds and have lots of different noises and songs and sounds that they make. So some people are really good at recalling those and recognizing them. Me, not so much. So that's why I kind of depend on what I see. Now here's that Carolina chickadee again. But how do I know it's not a black-capped chickadee? Well, that's where the books come in handy. It is good to have a good bird book, and when you look it up, you find that the range of the black-capped chickadee and the Carolina chickadee are different. Okay, Carolina chickadee, black-capped chickadee. Well, I live down here, so I am going to be seeing Carolina chickadees, not black-capped chickadees. Maybe some of the methods that I've talked about have appealed to you as far as learning about birds. I tell you what, I have taught some of my grandchildren about birds, and one of them, who is only 2 years old, can identify several birds that live in our area exactly every time, seeing them in the wild, at the bird feeders, and seeing them in a book. You can do it too.